Brother Nashi, I am 43 years old and I am sending you this confession because I need people to assist me. I used to be someone that was very proud because of the job that I was doing. I was transferred from Venda where I was working, and I came and I started working at the head office of our company, which is here in Joburg. This happened when my husband was still alive. Me and my husband, we worked really hard and we bought a townhouse in a nice neighborhood. We had bought a Toyota Hilux and we were living a nice life. We had told ourselves that we were not going to live beyond our means. That was why we had bought only one car. We wanted to send our kids to the best universities so that they can also have a good life. But when my mother and my son became ill, that was when the devil came into my life. And I wonder why, if there is something that is called a guardian angel, why would that guardian angel allow the devil to come into my life in such a painful way? By 2019, I was already exhausted. It was too exhausting what I was going through. I had lost my husband. My son had been bedridden since 2014 with a sickness that no doctor could even give a name. Then, as if God was punishing me, my mother collapsed back in Venda. All along, I was the only one that was working. As for my cousin, sisters and brothers, when their kids wanted to go to colleges, they would come to me, their auntie, and instead of them paying for accommodation, I would stay with the kids. I was the breadwinner. I was the only one working in the family. And you know, as a black person, I was carrying the black tax from my own side and from my husband's side, because when he died, he was also the breadwinner. And I was still helping them to go through college. And the whole family, they depended on me. And I was exhausted and I just wanted to give up on life. There were many days when I even thought about even drinking poison. Maybe if I had done that, it could have been better. I would not have lost my daughter. I was desperate. Being desperate, it makes you to speak with a lot of people. Just like what I am doing with you right now. Speaking with you, it is because of the way that I am just desperate. If I was desperate, you don't think that I would come to you and tell you that I need help. No, I'll just stay in my home with my kids and I'll say that life just goes ahead. But because of the way that I am so desperate, I ended up doing things and talking to people who did not even mean good, and people who wanted to take full advantage of me. So I spoke with one of my friend. She was a colleague. She had a life that was going very well. She had been sick, and after being sick, she just got fine, and she told me later on that she had gone to Zim. And I said, to Zim to do what? And then she said that she was assisted by a red garment prophetess who was from Zim. But this woman, she was now staying in Namibia, but she had contacts of another prophet who wore a red garment, who was available. He was in Joburg. And she said that the good thing about these people, they don't ask a lot of money like our South African sangomas. 10,000, it is too much. Even if you go there with 2,000, by then 2,000 was money that I could find even in one day. I went there and I spoke with this man. To my surprise, he said that he only wanted 100 rand. That was the money that he would use to call the Holy Spirit to come to his shrine so that he can assist me. He did not ask for much money. He asked me if I believed in God, and I said, yes, of course, I do believe that God is real and I have faith like a rock. He told me that my mother was being eaten by witches back home in Venda, and my mom had told me this, that she did not trust our neighbors because they hated the way that I had succeeded in life, and she always felt as if there were people that were watching her, those that were witches. And I was supposed to do things so as to protect my mother and so as to protect myself as well. And after having your child being sick for so many years, it brings so much confusion in your life. All that you want is for your child to be okay so that life can return back to normal. So I accepted whatever that I was supposed to do so as to protect my family, my mother, and to protect myself at work. Because this man, he convinced me and he told me that at work there were witches that were working with the witches back in Venda, and I was also going to die. He told me that I had a duty to look for 8 empty bottles of Coke. And I was supposed to look for the glass bottles, not the plastic ones. So I would drive around and look for the supermarkets or small shops that still had the Coke bottles in the glasses, not the plastics, and I would buy them. And after drinking, I would keep them. 8 of them. He made me collect them, and then he told me that I was supposed to come to his shrine. He had a shrine back then here in Joburg. I don't know why these people, they always run away after they have made so much money from you, because this man, I ended up selling my Hilux to him so that he can be able to assist me. I went to his shrine, we spoke, and then he said that he wanted us to return back to my home. At 3 a.m., he woke me up because he was sleeping in the other room, and he came knocking on my bedroom and he said that, "Mama, wake up now. We need to perform the prayers." I woke up. He said that I was supposed to be naked and I was not supposed to be worried because he had his wife. So I just removed my night dress and I followed him outside. Him, his wife, and I, we were holding the 8 2-liter empty bottles. He then removed a small container. I still remember that it was a Rama lunchbox that he had. Inside there were some thick worms, you know, those white garden worms. I saw that inside there were about 9 of them. They should be 9 that was inside. He gave me one which I was supposed to eat. I ate it and he told me not to vomit, otherwise the prayers were not going to work. We were in my garden when I ate it. Then we went at the first corner of the yard and we went to the other corner and the other corner until 4 bottles had been buried. But before we had buried, what he would do is that he would hand me one of the worm and I would drop it inside the bottle, close it, and he would tie it with a red garment. These things, they used to be at my house. They have been removed by other Zim people, but nothing has changed. We dug up holes that was knee deep, and then I would place the empty bottles inside, close it up. But this was the strange way that he made me to close it up. I would sit down with my back against the hole, then I'll start to push the soil using my buttocks, the things that we do at night, trying to protect ourselves. If someone would see me in a situation like that, they will say, "Here is a witch from Venda in Joburg." I was sitting on top of the soil, then I would push the soil with my buttocks. It would fall into that big hole until it was covered up, and then we would move to the other hole until the 4 holes were done and we had buried the 4 empty 2-liter Coke bottles. When we were done, he said to me, "Let us rest. Tomorrow we are supposed to go to Venda." So we rested and then we drove all the way to Thoyandou. We arrived so late at night. Then at 3 a.m., he woke me up again. They slept in the car. He called me and he said, "Wake up and make sure that you do not wake other people up because they are not supposed to know that this is what we are doing." So my brother, I woke up really slowly and then I went outside where the man and his wife were waiting for me close to my car. Then we buried the 2 bottles and he threw in those worms as well inside. But this was in the family yard, 2 of them, one at the back of the house, then the other one at the front of the house. They had already done the work when I was asleep. They had dug up the hole. We did not even hear them. They just made the soil to be wet so that they can dig without making any noise. We buried those bottles and I was shaking because I was naked, and I said, if my mother wakes up, or if my relatives, if they wake up with the way that my mother is sick, they find me naked, pushing soil with my buttocks, are they not going to say that this is witchcraft of the highest order? But I just did it because I told myself that I was trying to save my own mother, but I did not know the kind of things that I was bringing into my own life. Brother Nashim, then this man, he told me that in order for these witches not to continue draining the blood from my mother, the final 2 bottles, we were supposed to go and bury them at the cemetery where my father is buried there in Venda. I was terrified to go to my father's grave. We were supposed to go there at 3 a.m. in the morning. If I tell you the place where my father is buried, you will be shocked. Even people, they will be shocked. We stay close to that cemetery. At 3 a.m., I was terrified. I only agreed to do this because I had thought about my father's spirit before, because I was thinking that maybe the way that my father passed away and the way that my father's relatives handled the funeral, maybe it was the one that was causing all of this bad luck that was happening in the family. Maybe there was someone that was going to the grave to do bad things at my father's grave. I did not ask the prophet though. So I just said, maybe this prophet, he knows a lot about my father's spirit. Maybe wherever he is a troubled spirit. We went to the cemetery. We buried the last 2 bottles. These 2 bottles we buried at the head of his grave. When we were finished, then my mother recovered. Within 48 hours straight, my mom, she recovered. She was walking and she was laughing. The first thing that she did when she woke up, and she said, I want you, my daughter, to cook soft porridge for me. I thought that it was a miracle. Even this prophet, I told him that I was going to bless him with more money than the money that he had said that he wanted. And people did not understand how she had managed to be okay. Life moved on as if it was okay. My mother was healthy and I even got a promotion at work. Life looked like it was perfect. But inside of my home, there were things that started to happen that I could not understand. It started with the keys. When I would go to work in the morning, the first time when it happened, I thought that maybe I was about to lose my mind, because I started the car nicely, but then the car, it just switched itself off and I could not find the car keys. You know where I found the keys? It was on top of my pillow in my bedroom. How this had happened, I could not even understand. Every night, there would be a short man. I started seeing this short man when I would be in the shower bathing. I saw a hairy man that was in the shower with me, then it disappeared. I thought that maybe it was because I had gone so much trauma in my life when I lost my husband as well as my kids being sick. Then it became physical. Sleep paralysis is so real. This short man would come and it would sit on my chest. Then this man, it started raping me physically. I would wake up and I would see scratches on my thighs and I would smell as if there was a wet dog that was in my bed. This short man would sleep with me by force. The horror, it doubled when I realized that I was not the only victim. My teenage daughter started becoming withdrawn. She stopped eating and she started losing a lot of weight. One night I heard her, she was screaming. She was screaming in her room, and then I said, let me go and check what is going on with my daughter. So then I went into her bedroom. When I went in there, I saw that my daughter, I saw her, she was sleeping on her bed, but she was half naked, and she was moving her waist as if she was sleeping with a man. She screamed, and she told me that she saw a man that looked like that prophet that was assisting me, who was busy raping her. I did not even know what was going on. Here we were living in a middle-class townhouse, but we were being raped by tokoloshis. I could not tell my daughter about the secret rituals that we had done, me being naked, burying those bottles in my yard, and I could not tell my mother because I was scared that she would think that I have been doing money rituals. I went back to that prophet. Oh, brother, that man was nowhere to be found. The number, it will just say no longer in service. Then I started to panic. I was panicking a lot. My daughter, she became so sick. My daughter, she passed away because of cancer. In 2022, that was when my daughter passed away. We went to Venda for a long weekend, but by then I was even taking her back to Venda because as a parent, I knew that it was done. My daughter was going to die, so I just wanted her to be buried in Venda, and indeed, she passed away. One afternoon, when we were just sitting in the lounge, that was when my daughter fell down, and then by the time that the ambulance reached the village, my daughter, she was already dead. After the funeral, the elders, they said that we were supposed to ask to hear what was happening. Why did this happen, that my daughter can just get sick and then she dies? My son, still bedridden. When we went to the Sangoma looked at me, and then he exposed me in front of my relatives. He told them everything that I did with the prophet. But this Sangoma, when he was exposing me, he did not know what I had gone through in order for me to do and to allow that traditional healer to undress me to do all of those rituals. He said to my relatives, this one, she is the culprit. She went to the graveyard at 3 a.m. and locked her father's spirit in a bottle. She has bottles that are buried at the family house. We need to go there. After my relatives had paid the money that was supposed to be paid, that was when we returned back to the family house, and they told me to dig up the bottles. Everyone was screaming at me, saying that I was a witch, and I tried to fight with them. I tried to explain everything as it had happened, but when things like that happen, you cannot negotiate with the family. They will say that you are a witch. I returned back to Joburg. When I returned back, when we drove inside, I saw the short man was waiting for me in the driveway. He was not hiding himself anymore, the Tokoloshi. I realized that I had done something that was so stupid. I had purchased a Tokoloshi by selling my Toyota Hilux to that prophet. And as for now, I have been to Zim so many times. I can't even count the many times that I have been to Zim, more than 6 times between the time when I could not see the prophet and when I was accused of witchcraft by my relatives. Until today, I have been there so many times. I have paid a lot of traditional healers from Zim. Some of them, they even come to my house. They say that they have tied the Tokoloshi, it will never bother me, but it comes back to sleep with me again. Now that we are in February 2026, as I am sending you this confession, there is a problem in my home. My child has been bedridden since 2014. My son is sick. My son, he told me that he saw himself he was being led into an abattoir where he was being slaughtered as if he was a cow. When he told me this dream that he had, I saw my son as he was being led into an abattoir and he was being sacrificed as if he was a cow. This is where I am right now. I am pleading with you, Brother Nashi, and your viewers. If you know any prophet that can help me, anyone that can just save my life and save my son's life, please assist me. You know where to find me. I have already given you my phone numbers. You can give people my phone numbers so that I can get help. But I do not want people that are going to rob me of the little money that I have had. The only thing that I am left with is my house. I have sold most of the furniture inside. It is just an empty house because I've been selling things, bringing prophets. Some of the prophets, when they come into my house, they will just point at the couches, at the TV and say, okay, I'm going to assist you, Mama, but you have to give me that TV, give me the fridge, the couch, since you do not have money. Then I said, it is fine, thinking that my son is going to be okay, but still nothing changes. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us speak with our dear sister in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Yo.